are the New York Knicks. I'm back in the New York groove. Well, it's the Knicks. New York. We are the New York Knicks. New York. For this new season we're about to enter, the Knicks taking no shorts, just like winter. New York, New York.
New York be about the Knicks, huh?
But the best thing about New York City is
K-N-I-C-K-S.
Everybody say go New York, go New York, go!
Go New York, go New York, go!
Everybody, welcome to the New York Knicks podcast, part of Dash Radio. This is episode 584. I am Jay. How you doing, Mark?
I feel disrespected, Jay.
What is that?
Disrespected. It is so messed up that the Miami Heat gave Tyler Hero 4 years, $130 million, $5 million more than RJ Barrett got just to disrespect the Knicks.
That's what you're riled up about?
I don't know. I need something to be riled.
It's been a long offseason, huh?
You don't think that the Heat did that solely just to disrespect the Knicks? Everything's about the Knicks, Jay.
I mean, if that's the way they want to disrespect the Knicks by overpaying Harrow, I'm fine with that.
Lonzo Ball is injured for much of the upcoming season just to disrespect the Knicks.
I mean,
Did you know the Phoenix Suns lost a game to the Australian national team just to disrespect the Knicks?
that Kardashian-Jenner curse is a real thing.
It's a real thing. Do you know who starred for the Australian national team as they kicked the crap out of the Phoenix Suns?
Who?
Former Knick, Chasson Randall.
I don't think so.
What do you mean you don't think so?
I think you saw C. Randall, but I clicked on his name.
It's not him.
It's not Jason Randall.
Who is it?
I did the same thing. I saw a C. Randall, and I clicked on it, and it wasn't Jason Randall.
Oh, okay. Well, it was a guy named C. Randall, so it's messed up.
So, the Australian team had, I don't think, any ex-NBA players, and they beat the Suns. And the Suns starters all played 22 minutes. So it's not like it was one of those, they were trying.
Okay, this goes into our episode tonight. We are going to preview the NBA with our new annual bit we're starting this season, be called "Why Your Team Sucks."
Mm-hmm. ...
Why the Knicks will win the title.
Yes.
Because your team sucks.
Yep.
But let's catch up briefly on Knicks off-season moves, or what? Not really moves. What's going on with the Knicks? Leon Rose did a fake press conference where he was interviewed by only people that work for James Dolan.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think of that?
I don't care about any press conference. I know the people on Twitter were all like, "Oh my God, he doesn't talk to the media," and the media either ask lame questions or gotcha questions, and I don't care. Do you watch these interviews? I don't.
I don't watch any interviews. And people will say "Well, what's the press going to ask him? What's the big deal anyway?" I don't know. Then why does RJ Barrett talk to the media? What's the media going to ask RJ Barrett? Why even talk to the media at all?
Yeah.
You're doing it out of this weird spite thing. And it's also if you can't stand to the scrutiny of the New York Post, then what the hell are you doing?
I don't know. I don't care.
I don't care that much, but it's just it's a weird thing how Leon Rose and the team's upper management is so scared to get one real question from the media. As if the media's going to ask him a question. It's I don't know what to say. It's a real question. I haven't scripted that answer.
I mean, maybe he's afraid they're going to ask, "Do you know what you're doing?"
I mean, he'll just say no and move on.
Absolutely not. Next question.
It does sound like they're so scared, because people play up there well, I mean, the Knicks media is so bad. They're always just giving this negative coverage of the Knicks. I don't know. The Knicks have been a laughingstock on their own. They didn't need the media to make them a laughingstock.
This is true.
It's been 20 years of misery. I would hope we'd have a team president that has the balls to take a question from Mark Berman,
who retired.
Who just retired. And Mark Berman's awesome. That's why that's why I mentioned his name.
Yeah,
but it is kind of weird.
I mean, that's impressive.
What'd you say?
23 years doing running the beat. It's pretty impressive.
It's shocking how it's actually he got paid to do this the whole time. We've been doing this as a side project for over a decade. something's mentally wrong with us. Congratulations to Mark Berman, though.
Yeah, we're on year 13 and we've been doing it for free.
Yeah, he's getting paid. What else happened? The Knicks, the team, they've been talking to them. So Tibbs and the players have actually been talking to the media. Do you like that? Have you been following any of what they've said?
Oh, I'm super excited. I was lying before. I'm really into it.
Oh, come on. So, are you not into all this Knicks stuff, Jay? Have you been doing a podcast out of spite?
No, it's just like until the game is on, everyone's going, oh, I'm working on this, I'm working on that, or, oh, it's going to be a good year, blah blah blah. I want to see it on the court. I don't care if you say, Randall's like, oh, I've been working on thinking quicker and speeding up my game. I don't care. I want to see it on the court. You could say whatever you want.
Okay, so a couple things that have been mentioned. RJ Barrett said, "I think we're going to shock. We're going to shock the world."
Cool.
What do you? You don't have much to say there.
No, I don't believe him.
Okay. Tibbs said on Grimes and the other young players, "I can tell those guys will have major roles."
Cool. I don't believe him.
Well, I do believe him because there's not much else on the roster as we trade away most of the vets.
Grimes in a walking boot right now, so.
Yeah, he is in a walking boot. That's the other. He's in a walking boot. So on a normal team, he'd be back by the end of the preseason. This is the Knicks, so his foot may need to be amputated.
Yeah.
But hopefully he'll be back to start of the season. Tibbs also said he wanted the offense to move faster. Apparently Tibbs has never coached a team that wasn't bottom 10 in pace. Do you think the Knicks will? Knicks have been they've been one of the slowest teams in the NBA for the last couple of years under Tibbs. Will the Knicks be faster this year?
I think so. I mean, if you play Obi's fast, Brunson likes to run. If Grimes gets out of his walking boot, he can run. So, I mean, you got some guys that got some speed out there.
I mean, everyone on the offense likes to run except for who's that guy who's going to drive us crazy all season? Let's see. He was an all-star 2 years ago, and last year he was the devil, according to Knicks fans.
We can move on from this train of thought.
But anyway, everyone else likes to move fast. But I also just like Tibbs said the young guys are going to play. I mean, they kind of have to with the there's only question really is like who are the vets that are going to play? There's Fournier, there's Randall as a vet. Who else?
Rose.
And Rose, yeah. And no one's going to argue about those guys playing. Well, except for Randall, obviously. What else? Anything else happen in Knicks world, Jay?
It's really it. We got preseason starting tomorrow, so we finally actually get to see the team in action. I feel like they haven't played a game in about 19 months.
It's been a long time. By the way, the offseason one of the offseason controversies was that Tibbs said that Evan Fournier is starting as of now. It's his job to lose going into training camp. What do you think about that? Because like a lot of people in Knicks world or a lot of Knicks Twitter, Knicks fandom want Grimes to start. And I guess this debate might be a moot point with Grimes injured. But what do you think?
I mean, has Grimes really, when you think about it, shown NBA starter level play?
No.
He's proven he can be in a rotation, but does he deserve to start?
No. Well, I think the argument really isn't that he deserves to start. It's the argument that he plays really good defense. The starting five defense looks questionable before you put Fournier in the lineup. Then you put Fournier, it looks even more questionable. His defense would just kind of balance things out. That's the.
I get the logic, but I don't know. We'll see.
I mean, are you fine? Like, because I think a lot of people also feel like any other team, they'd be like, okay, well, this will just change in a couple games. They're like, once Tibbs puts starting lineup, he like chisels in stone. He's like, can't change the starting lineup.
Yeah, I was of the opinion, if it doesn't work out, change it. You really think Tibbs just won't change it all season?
I don't know, Alfred Payton. What do you think?
I mean, there was no other point guard. There's literally no other point guard on the team. So, like...
Okay, let's cover quickly. We have a couple questions, and then let's go into our bit. Is that cool?
Yep. Nomad and Anthony checking in. What's up, guys? Thanks for joining.
What's going on? Ant writes on Facebook, can Randall keep his turnovers down?
He can, because I don't think he's going to be playing point guard. And with the ball in Brunson's hands, Randall's turnover should be down.
Yeah, I mean, I do think there's going to be a little point Randall out there. Randall's going to try to, but it's just not going to be as much.
Yeah.
Or not nearly as much.
Mm-hmm.
Ant writes, is Tibbs the right coach?
I'm not as down on him as a lot of people are. We haven't seen him coach with an actual point guard yet. So, can we revisit that like in 40 games?
I mean, in fairness, also the Knicks were terrible last year, and they still had 37 wins, which is not a lot of wins, but if you look at the past 20 years, it's one of the better seasons.
God. That doesn't make me feel
Tibbs really and people say with Tibbs, there's a floor. You're not going to be that bad because Tibbs will get the most out of players, even if you don't necessarily like his lineups and so forth. The question really is, how high is the ceiling with Tibbs?
I mean, 2 years ago, we were saying how he took a garbage team to the 4th seed and he was amazing. So, like, I don't know. I feel like I want to cut him a little bit of slack.
Yeah, he did get coach of the year, and all the things that you drive you crazy about Tibbs. He does get results on the floor. The team does play hard for him. The young guys have been playing better under him. Yeah, I think he gets a little bit too much crap.
Yeah.
Also, a minor controversy, is that Tibbs in one of the questions, he was asked about, can Obi and Randall play together? And his response basically was, "This isn't fantasy basketball. It's hard just to pair guys just because you want to see them both out there at the same time."
It's fair.
Yeah, I mean, people I read something where someone was giving crap about this, and they were like, "Well, I mean, like, yes, you sacrifice some defense, but they're never gonna get better together unless you play them together." And the ceiling's so high, and those two of them together.
There's 3 centers on the roster.
Yeah, I don't know how you the Knicks. They designed Leon Rose designed a roster with 3 centers. You're not gonna have a lot of minutes to play your 2 power forwards together if you're having 3 centers, and with 2 of them are meant to play big minutes.
Yeah.
I mean, you just re-signed Mitch, and you brought in Hart to play a lot of minutes. It's gonna be. It's also Tibbs likes to have a center that can play defense. It's hard to argue Obi and Randall is the best defensive combination.
No, I think it's nonsense. I don't know why people are pushing that when the Knicks literally have 3 centers that are real centers. Like,
yeah, I mean, I'd be fine if the number 2 center was Sims, but you brought in Hart, who has a lot of potential. So Anthony writes up and under, or over and under. RJ shoots 45% from the field, over under.
God, if he shoots over, I'm going to say under, but if he shoots over, the Knicks are going to, maybe they will surprise the world.
I'll be happy if he shoots 43% from the field. Randall shoots 35% from 3.
Over.
I'm going to say over, too. I think he's going to surprise some people. His 3-point shooting is going to be a little better. Brunson, 8 assists.
It's kind of a lot. I'm going to go over. I think there's potential there for. I mean, there's a lot of people there he can pass to now. He's going to be running the offense.
15 minutes per game.
Obi, 15 minutes per game. I'm gonna.
We should also move faster because we have a whole bit we want to do.
Yeah, I'm gonna say over. Not by much, but over.
Yeah.
Like 18. All right. We're back. If the episode's a little choppy, call Optimum, tell them they suck.
Okay. And Derrick Rose, 14 points a game.
Under.
Yeah, I'd be really surprised if he goes over 14 a game. He'll probably be injured at some point. His minutes will be a little bit lower. I have high hopes for him, but 14 points a game is pretty high for. Is a lot higher than I expect.
Yeah.
Also, a couple other questions on Twitter. Worldwide Knicks writes, of all the young players we have on the roster, who do you think will take the biggest leap this year? And of all the young players we drafted, Cam's off the table here. Who is the most likely to get traded? So who's taking the biggest leap?
Grimes.
Yeah. Though I'll say IQ will take a leap. Year 3, I'll say he is going to be finally more consistent, and we're going to be excited about him.
Mm-hmm.
Who's the most likely to be traded of the young players? Obi,
Probably Obi.
unfortunately. But if we're not moving Randall at some point, Obi's going to be traded.
Yeah. Maybe honorable mention to Cam.
3 teams in 30 minutes?
Yeah. So we got 2 emails real quick.
Oh, we're back?
Yes, we are back. Mr. C writes, "Hey guys, can you name 10 active power forwards better than Julius Randle? He may be better than we think. Love the show." Thank you, Mr. C.
He's not that amazing. Let's move on. Do you really want to name players? We have a whole long segment we want to do, okay?
Yeah, I mean, people are talking about him on Twitter like he's like shouldn't even be starting, which I think is insane.
I mean, I understand he put up 20 and 5 and 5 or 20 and 10 and 5, and everyone's that sounds great. His efficiency kind of sucked. His defense kind of sucked. He needs to be better this season. I am so excited to get past whatever he did last year and just talk about this coming season when it starts so we can actually talk about games and whether Julius Randle is good when we play games.
Jonathan writes, "Why does everyone keep talking about Cam Reddish? He's not going to play. At shooting guard, we have Fournier and IQ. It's small forward Barrett and Grimes, power forward Randle and Obi. So why do we keep talking about is Cam going to play? He will play if someone gets hurt. That's it." Oh, no. All right. So, yeah, it's the next day. Optimum's working now. And
I thought we were going to start a whole new show. We're just continue from the earlier show.
Yeah, we have 17 minutes recorded. We might as well.
Oh, why the hell not? By the way, Jay, so
yeah.
It's the next day. The Knicks have played a preseason game. They've looked goddamn amazing against the Pistons. I am hoping I put a call into the league. I am trying to negotiate the Knicks playing 82 games against the Pistons this year. And if not 82 against the Pistons, maybe 41 against the Pistons and 41 against, I don't know, the who else is terrible? The Pacers?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pistons and
OKC,
Pacers.
since they're probably tanking anyway.
Yeah. Maybe like 5 teams. That's it.
Yeah. If we could will it down to 4 or 5 teams, and also if we could play Akron State, they have a college basketball team. If we can make them an NBA pro team just for the Knicks to get the games against them, it'd be helpful. But my big thing from tonight, my biggest takeaway is, I don't know if you've noticed this, Jay, but the Knicks play a lot better when Tibbs has facial hair.
Mm-hmm. Remember about 10 years ago, I had my beard power theory, and I said,
Let's share it. It's been a while, Jay.
It's been a long time, but I was saying players that have good beards play better, and not stupid beards like Harden, but like a nice beard.
It seemed to work for Harden, but go on.
Yeah, I mean, not in the playoffs, but yeah. If you notice, like players that don't have a beard and then they grow a good beard, they play a lot better.
LeBron looked pretty good with a beard. Who else looked pretty good with a beard? And I mean, good playing on the court, not like I'm into him. Just letting you know.
Valanciunas, he got a lot better after he grew a beard.
Okay.
It's been kicking ass lately.
Anyone got worse?
No.
It's 100% of the time. So Tibbs, keep the stubble, keep it going. He's got to keep the stubble. He looks so much better.
Mm-hmm.
I'm into him. Not in a basketball way, like in a sexual way.
Okay.
Okay. Anyway, and quick notes of the game tonight. Everyone looked awesome. Brunson, I feel like maybe we weren't quite like we said he was going to be good. Jay, we were saying this before off the air. He might be an all-star.
He might be. He's leading the offense. He's got a lot of options to pass to. He can shoot the ball. I mean, this could be a breakout year.
He's obviously efficient. He was efficient before. I love his moves. Like he just kind of he just gets himself open. He sets guys up. Other notes. I mean, there's so many guys look good today. Hart, who has stolen my heart already, walked into 2 3-pointers, and I'm like, wow, this is a different look from a center that could shoot from the outside.
Yeah, stretch five is nice. McBride looked awesome on defense.
Yeah, the whole Knicks team looked awesome on defense. Randall played good defense. Everyone played good, and it may be just the effect of playing the Pistons. But I made a joke about the Knicks playing 82. Knicks should play the Pistons 82 times this year. And some Detroit Pistons account I've never seen before was like, "Hey, what are you talking about?"
That's funny.
Yeah, the whole team, like IQ, look, I liked what I saw from IQ. He was like driving to the paint, attacking the rim. Everyone looked pretty good out there. Randall was running the floor. Obi was running the floor as he normally does. Had some dunks. Anything else worth noting from the game?
I don't want to get too excited over a preseason game, but they looked like it was like the team is gelled. They look like they have chemistry already, which is really nice.
I think we're supposed to completely and totally overreact. I think that's the way it's supposed to be. Someone I was conversing with someone on Reddit who made a good point that how most he made the point that the Knicks should play. They should try not to have anyone play like they have a lot of guys that can play, a lot of depth. How about playing everyone under 30 minutes? Maybe have one guy over 30 minutes. Maybe Jalen Brunson's like at 31 or 32 minutes and everyone else below. And I was like, yeah, no NBA team operates with like one guy over 30 minutes and the rest of the roster below 30. That's a ridiculous concept. And he came back with actually the Memphis Grizzlies, if you take a look, the only guy over 30 minutes was Ja, who was at like 32, and the rest of the team was below 30. And I was like, oh, that team that shocked everyone by playing so well last year and had a ton of depth. Maybe that's a good idea.
Interesting. I mean,
yeah.
I did. I mean, not that this is real life, but in 2K when I'm GM, I cut everybody's minutes down to like 33, 34 max, and it like almost eliminated injuries for like if you up it like 3 or 4 more minutes, like you get injuries all season, and if you lower it, like nobody gets hurt.
Okay, so 2K is reality. We'll eliminate injuries by cutting everyone's minutes by 3 minutes.
It does have some parallels to reality. Anthony Davis played for the first time, and he played himself and got injured on the very first play of the game.
Oh, there you go. I mean, one thing I was thinking that, like, first of all, Randall, whatever you say about him, like, there's always like 7 or 8 minutes of him just kind of like being tired on the court, and it shows. Maybe if you played 28 minutes of Randall, you'd get the best of Randall. And maybe for the whole roster, like, we're always bottom 5 in pace. Maybe this team would look a lot better if kids was just like, hey, run, give full effort. Everyone's going to play a little bit less minutes, but we're all going to play. And we'll just, like, it's all about team basketball. You'll play 28 minutes, but you'll, like, give your all for those 28 minutes.
I mean, they're deep enough. They have, like, 13 guys that could realistically get minutes.
Yeah, I mean, well, the issue we have is, like, there's very few guys that really stand out. Obviously, Brunson stands out. You can argue, some people argue Randall stands out, but you could argue RJ Barrett should get more minutes. But generally speaking, depth is one of our biggest strengths, so why not use it?
Yeah.
Okay, so we wanted to tell you why every other team in the NBA sucks balls. We're going to go through every team and tell you why this team sucks. This is our season preview by telling you why the Knicks are going to win the title because everyone else is horrible. What team do you want to start with, Jay?
Just go in order. Go by standings last year.
I don't care. Just start.
Okay.
Jay's gonna tell us the transactions, the major transactions the team had made. I'm gonna tell you how many wins are projected, based on Vegas Insider, and then we're gonna tell you why the team is gonna be well under that number and gonna be horrible this season.
All right. We'll go with the Hawks. They added Murray and they lost Gallinari, Herter. That's about it.
Okay. So the Hawks are going to suck because, like every year, Mr. Floppy is their best player who can't play a lick of defense. They've spent half the offseason trying to trade, what's his name?
Collins?
Yeah. They tried to trade Collins. I know they made a huge move. Anytime the San Antonio Spurs want to get rid of a guy, Kawhi Leonard wanted to leave, but anytime they want to get rid of a guy, especially a young, like, up-and-coming point guard, like, I would be skeptical. Maybe the Spurs know that DeJounte Murray actually sucks?
Maybe, or maybe he's just overrated.
Jay, you got to be more negative. It's about being negative, this bit, Jay.
They lost a ton of depth too. I mean, Dan Gallinari, Harkless, Herter, the almighty Kevin Knox, all gone. Replacing with
They
one
don't
guy.
have a ton of depth.
No. No,
And they're counting on guys like Okongwu, who hasn't done that much. Maybe he'll be good. Clint Capella had a bad year. Herter was a pretty good player. I don't know.
Long story short, they peaked 2 years ago.
They peaked 2 years ago. They're done. Let's move on, Jay.
Boston Celtics. They have added Gallinari and Brogdon, and they lost.
A coach?
They lost the coach. They lost Tice.
I saw the best thing. It was actually on TikTok. It was someone. It was the coach, and they were like, "This is the Celtics coach," and it was a scene from Seinfeld where George Costanza's like, "I didn't know we couldn't do that in the office. If someone had just told me, I wouldn't have done that. I just didn't know. I worked in other offices where this was allowed. I didn't know this wasn't allowed." Which I thought really. Anyway, you lost your coach.
Mm-hmm.
Great coach who's awesome last year. Apparently, not an awesome employee, but an awesome coach, and that is going to hurt a lot.
It is. Also, their center's injured again.
Robert Williams injured every year, rarely healthy. He was the key in them having won the best defense in the NBA. So they're missing him. They brought on Gallo. Guess what? Gallo's injured. They got Malcolm Brogdon. Guess what? Brogdon will be injured. They got Derek White. Guess what? White kind of sucks. I'm wonderful. They have Tatum. They have Brown. You know what they're going to have? They're going to have one less of those guys. They realize they have to trade one of them, probably Brown, to get better.
I mean,
And
Smart's always injured too. They got lucky last year that he was healthy for a whole playoff run.
By the way, how excited is Brown to be on this team when he's like, "Oh, you wanted to trade me for Kevin Durant? I'm so excited to be here. Thank you."
yeah. Chemistry might be an issue for them.
Right. And also, I understood it worked. You had Marcus Smart playing point guard for a little while, and it was working. I'm going to say it's not going to work long term there. Anyway, the Celtics, they had a great run. Way to be lucky last year. You are going to suck this season. And I haven't pointed out. So Celtics were projected to win 53 games. They're going under. And the Hawks were projected to win the 45 games, and they're going way under. Okay, go on. Next, Jay.
The Brooklyn Nets, they added Markieff Morris, TJ Warren, Royce O'Neal. They lost Bruce Brown, Dragic, Drummond, Blake Griffin, LaMarcus Aldridge, and James Johnson.
Anytime that your best offseason acquisition is getting your best player to agree to play for your team, not a great look for team chemistry. By the way, Celtics, the Nets are projected to win 50 games. They're going way under. What else, Jay? So basically, the star player had to be talked into staying on the team. The next best player thinks the earth's flat, and the next best player was scared to play basketball last year.
Yeah, and they're going for an interesting lineup with no center this year.
Yes. Simmons played actually last night or the night before in a preseason game. So he's back on the court.
Okay. I mean, glad he's back for games that don't matter.
Yeah, he said he's ready to sit. He's ready to be on the bench and not playing when the season starts.
Super excited for that.
Yeah. Anyway, Bruce Brown also an underrated loss. He was kind of awesome for them as a bench piece. They have no depth. What do they have? What do they have in terms of depth?
Well, they have TJ Warren, who is always injured.
Yeah, if he ever gets healthy. I mean, TJ Warren's awesome when he played basketball 2 years ago.
Markieff Morris, who is old now.
And Markieff Morris is awesome to get your team a technical foul or a flagrant foul, whichever you choose.
Yeah, that's about it.
Joe Harris is back. I don't know. Kyrie Irving's going to burn this. Kyrie Irving's going to burn this to the ground. There's going to be no team chemistry. They'll win a bunch of games. They'll have an okay. I mean, they're going to make the playoffs. They're also going to lose in the first round. They've already peaked. The Nets are done. If Kevin Durant had moved his foot off the line, they would have. That was their moment. That was it. You peaked basically when Kevin Durant stood in the line when he shot that three. It's over.
All right, Charlotte Hornets. They added nobody, and they lost Bridges and Harrell.
But at least they have an aging Gordon Hayward.
Well, look,
That is awesome. That is awesome. So you lost your best player for domestic violence. Was that what it was?
Yeah. Well, let's say second best player. You could say Ball's the best player.
Okay, whatever. You lost one of your best player who, but basically the guy you were like, oh, this guy's awesome. Here's $150 million or whatever you were about to give him. Turns out he's a giant asshole. So way to go building your team around really good, solid guys. LaMelo's good, but there's not much of a roster around him.
Yeah,
team's going to be real bad.
Yeah, they stunk last year. They're going to stink even more this year.
Yeah, Gordon Hayward's going to be injured half the season, and it's just going to be worse. What else do they have in this team?
Nothing. They don't really have anything.
It's a really, really weak roster.
Like PJ Washington is like their third best player now.
36 wins is projected, which is lower than what the Knicks are projected for at 38 wins, even though the Knicks are going to win 82. Charlotte's going to suck.
Yeah.
LaMelo's only hope is the team gets the number one draft pick. Like LaMelo should be like, hey guys, I'll sit out. Let's just tank because that's our only prayer.
Yep. Okay. Chicago Bulls. They added Drummond and Dragic, and they lost Tristan Thompson. Not much. Troy Brown Jr. It looks like Ball is gonna miss the whole season though. So
released most of the season. So that's kind of a big loss.
They looked like garbage without Ball. So
I have to say, like, I had wanted the Knicks to sign Ball. The Knicks front office said, no, we don't need a guy like Ball. Turns out the Knicks front office was right because he played for a half hour and now he's done. Is there any? So there's also a whole thing about regression. Guys play really well. Sometimes they come back down to the mean. So do we think DeMar DeRozan is going to regress at age 35 or whatever, how old he is?
I think he's 33 right now, but him and Vucevic are on the wrong side of 30. I feel like all their guys are on the decline except maybe Zach LaVine, who gets injured a lot.
I think I didn't double check this, but I think the Magic have the top 4 protected pick from the Bulls for this year from the Vucevic trade, and they must be salivating because they're like the Bulls are like they've already peaked. They're going to be a bad team this year.
They're going to be bad, but not bad enough for a top 4, so it's perfect. Yeah,
right. They're going to be like get like a 10th pick, out of just a free 10th pick. And Vucevic, you traded 2 firsts to get Vucevic. That was just not that smart.
Yeah, I mean, he's been really good for a long time, but long time is the key part of that.
Also, if he's like he puts up good numbers, he hasn't really made the Bulls better.
Yeah, I mean,
they haven't been that great with him on the court.
No, they haven't.
His defense is mediocre.
It is. It's mediocre. I think honestly, if Ball doesn't come back, they're gonna stink.
I mean, they have Zach LaVine. Zach LaVine's a very, very good basketball player. The half the season that he'll be healthy for will be great for you guys. So that half the season, just hopefully the half the season will correspond with the postseason. Well, it won't matter. You guys won't make it anyway. So,
speaking of teams who played good for half a season, the Cleveland.
Oh, by the way, Bulls were 41 wins. In case anyone's curious, over under. Okay, next.
Cleveland Cavaliers.
Ooh, Cleveland Cavaliers got Donovan Mitchell. I'm so scared. I love how like everyone's like, wow, Donovan Mitchell. Oh my God, the Cavs got him. Then everyone's like, okay, Cavs are probably an 8th seed or a 9th seed. It's worth trading like all your draft picks to get a guy that moves you from the 9th seed to the 8th seed.
Right. So they also added Robin Lopez and Ricky Rubio, and they lost Markkanen, Sexton, Rondo, Ed Davis.
Hey, Darius Garland. In terms of in NBA terms, you're really not that tall. What if we compare you with another guy who's not that tall? How's the defense going to work out?
Yeah, they're going to have a small backcourt, and it's not going to work out.
Also, is it going to be? I get Donovan Mitchell's a great player, and blah blah blah. But you're going to regret making this trade.
Yeah.
Also, come on, Cavaliers. Like, you're only going to be good when LeBron's there. LeBron's never coming back. Your team's going to suck.
Oh, what's their
Jay, I need more negativity, Jay, from you. I need more negativity. You're not being negative enough.
Okay. What
also, Cavaliers relied on Kevin Love as an integral member of the bench. He was a big contributor last year. Does anyone think Kevin Love will be healthy, or even be a good teammate this year?
It would be absolutely shocking if he does anything on the court.
I mean, he'll do a little bit, but he'll be injured half the year. I know most of our negativity is like, this guy's gonna be injured, this guy's gonna be injured. Kevin Love was just like pouting for 3 years in Cleveland. The smartest thing that Cleveland can do is go, hey, other team, look how good Kevin Love is. His contract doesn't look so bad now. Give us anything for him.
Is he still? He's still making like crazy money though, right?
Not insane. I think in the NBA, I haven't looked, but I think it's like 25 million. It doesn't look as bad over as the years pass because other contracts go up. But they should have tried to move him.
Yeah.
I mean, like, he's just not going to give you. You're not getting value for him, and he's also a ticking time bomb.
What's their over under?
Do you remember watching Kevin Love when the Cleveland was bad, and he was just like sulking on the court, visibly sulking?
It was absolutely
and you're like,
the best.
It was insane.
I would love to see more of that.
Cleveland's over under. So they moved heaven and they moved like mountains to get Donovan Mitchell. Their over under is 47 wins.
Okay.
That doesn't seem that amazing.
I mean, yeah, that's their roster now. They're pretty much capped out and they have no draft picks, so have fun.
Yeah, good luck. Who's next?
The Mavericks, they added JaVale McGee and Christian Wood, which is their starting backcourt.
I think Christian Wood is you mean their front court?
Yeah, their front court.
I think Christian Wood supposedly might coming off the bench. There was a thing about a rumor that how he was they wanted him to come off the bench, and he was like, I didn't think I was coming off the bench.
So obviously they lost Brunson, Trey Burke. They're not the Knicks West Coast anymore. They lost Marquise Chris and Boban.
No, they still have Timmy Hardaway, and they still have Frank Ntilikina.
They do,
and they still have Reggie Book. They have a lot of Knicks.
They can't make an all Knicks lineup now though.
I'm sure they can get Theo Pinson out there also. Anytime you can downgrade from Jalen Brunson to Timmy Hardaway, not a good look for going forward.
Who's there? It's going to be Dinwiddie. That's going to be their backcourt now.
Timmy's starting probably. Yeah, I guess Dinwiddie also was really inconsistent for them like last year.
So
I wouldn't be too.
They're starting McGee.
Are they? They're starting JaVale McGee.
Yes. So like a team with championship aspirations is starting McGee. That is
no, they're not.
Yes,
they're not going to start JaVale McGee.
Who else are they going to start?
I mean, it's like Doncic has been like he's like, what did I do in my past life to be on this team?
They don't have another center. It's him or Wood.
How are you handed a NBA like a talent like a Doncic and you surround him with this garbage? And you also went to the conference finals last year and you took his best player and said sayonara when the Knicks stole him from you.
It's amazing how they've just completely like fumbled this roster.
Unless the Frank truthers turn out to be right and Ntilikina is unbelievable, I'm pretty sure the Mavericks are going to have a very disappointing season. And Luka is going to say, like, I don't know why I got into shape for this. Screw it.
All right, Denver Nuggets. They added Bruce Brown, DeAndre Jordan, Caldwell Pope, and they lost Barton, Monte Morris, Austin Rivers.
Okay, none of that stuff matters. The Mavericks, by the way, Mavericks are 48 wins, and the Nuggets are 49 wins for the over/under. The Nuggets' biggest move is getting they're one of their best players back.
They're second and third best players back.
Oh, is what's his name healthy?
Porter. I mean,
Porter's healthy.
They don't seem to know. He might be. He might not be.
But I mean, it's pretty darn huge getting Murray back. He got Jokic. So I'm going to say Denver is going to look pretty good in the regular season, but they always suck in the playoffs, and it's going to happen again.
Well, they have no depth at all. Like they're banking on like Caldwell Pope being awesome.
Everyone should try to build their teams around the way the Knicks do. The Knicks build a lot of depth. Everyone should kind of realize you need depth.
You do need depth, and they don't have any. So they're one injury away from disaster.
They got Bones Highland, who is basically IQ light. if you watch him play and just see him, he looks like he's like basically another version of IQ,
Yep.
a not as good version of IQ. Porter is not a good defender when healthy. I imagine his back injury is not going to help him be a good defender when he comes back. Jokic might be MVP again, but the team's going to suck.
Yep. So Pistons are trying to be the island of Knicks lost toys. They got Knox, Burks, Noel, Kemba, and they lost Olynyk, Jeremy Grant. It seems like they lost more talent than they got.
They did draft Ivy. That was a pretty good addition.
It was a pretty good addition, but
They also got Jalen Duran at center.
well, we just saw them lose by 30 to the Knicks. So
You're right. They're garbage.
They're
That is true. They have an interesting team in the sense of they do have the number 1 draft pick from last year. It depends how much you. I mean, they have some really interesting young players.
yeah, interesting, not good.
Uh,
Who needs to ramp up the inactivity
I like Sadiq
now,
Bey.
Mike?
Cade Cunningham is like an interesting player. By the way, Kevin Knox. Do you know he once won NBA Rookie of the Month?
It seems almost like a. Is this an even true fact at this point?
It seems like a lifetime. It's amazing how many Knicks have won NBA Rookie of the Month, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
Detroit's over-under is 29 wins. I don't think they'll get halfway there.
All right. So the Warriors, they added DiVincenzo and JaMychal Green. They lost Bjelica, Damian Lee, Gary Payton Jr., Otto Porter Jr., and Toscano Anderson. So their whole bench, pretty much.
Yeah, they lost a ton of. By the way, over-under is 51 wins. Did they have a good year last year? I can't remember.
They were pretty good last year, but they lost all their depth, like all of it.
I mean, in fairness, they have Kuminga. In theory, Wiseman played the other night. He's going to play this year. But why they are going to suck? Draymond Green's getting older. Steph Curry can't hit threes forever. This is the year it all goes downhill.
There you go. The Rockets.
The Rockets red glare.
They added, I don't know, Trey Burke, Marquise Chris, Harkless, Boban. Not much. And
They did draft someone pretty good, right? They got Terry Eason, who Jay loves.
And I guess they got.
You're not gonna comment on that? You do actually love him.
I'm trying not to have a overreact to the preseason game, but I was saying the Knicks should draft Terry Eason, and he looked so good yesterday. What do you have, like 23 points or something?
It's preseason. Let's not overreact. Unless it's the Knicks. But they also drafted Ty, who the guy who was almost a point guard in the draft. They got a lot of young players. They still got Jabari Smith. They are going to be completely lost this year, but they have a future. They're basically in the tank lottery, right?
Yeah.
They're going for Wembanyama, whatever his name is. All in.
They're going to be like bottom 5 in the West.
They are going to be awful. And if they start winning games, the coach is going to order them to stop winning games.
All I know is I'm not drafting Porter in the fantasy this year because he got, I think, 17 turnovers a game last season.
That's a lot of turnovers.
Wasn't good.
Okay, who's next?
Pacers added Tice, and they lost Brogdon, Rubio, TJ Warren.
And the Pacers are going to be horrible. 23 wins. Jay, how can the Pacers be over under 23 wins when they have your man crush, Tyrese Halliburton?
I mean, they only have 2 other good players, and they're trying to trade both of them.
So I don't understand this. It was reported that they offered to the Lakers Buddy Hield and Miles Turner for basically, I think Westbrook was included for salary, but then like the 2 first-round picks from the Lakers, which are a bunch of years from now, probably 27 and 29 picks.
Yeah.
That was off, and the Lakers said no. How in God's name did the Lakers say no to that?
I don't understand. Like, you have probably, I've said this 5 years in a row, probably LeBron's last really good year. And you have a chance to add 2 very good pieces, players who are better than what's on your current roster, and you say no for picks like 6 years down the road.
Right. They're easily the third and fourth best players in your roster. Your only chance of competing for a title this year is getting those two players because there's nothing else coming along. You don't have exactly like these aren't the most amazing draft picks in the world because they're so far out. Like, why do you have LeBron here if you don't want to win?
It seemed like a really weird like why would you balk at that? It seems very strange to me.
Really, like you're like the Lakers. How many more years does LeBron have? You have to assume going forward that LeBron always has one more year at most.
Anyway, if 2 picks, one of them being 7 years down the road is what it takes, somebody's going to do that deal. So Turner and Hield are going to be gone. Pacers are going to stink.
Also, when your team is begging other teams to take your some of your best players, you're all in for the tank. You're going to be terrible. Pacers. At some point, the Pacers were supposed to be good. They trade everyone else away, and they're kind of garbage. But they have Tyrese Halliburton, who's not as good as Jalen Brunson. So suck it, Jay.
Clippers added Wall and lost Hartenstein. They're going to suck because they lost Hartenstein.
That was kind of a big. Hartenstein looked kind of awesome for the Knicks. He does all the little things. I'm so excited to see more of Hartenstein. And the Clippers, who are the main additions to this team?
No, that was it. It was John Wall and the 43rd draft pick. That's it.
No, there's someone you're missing, Jay. You are missing Kawhi Leonard is supposed to play for this team.
Oh, well, I mean, great.
He's an addition. He didn't play last year.
True. I mean, I guess you could say Paul George, too.
And Paul George really didn't play much last year either. So there are 2 additions or 2 of the 2 guys who are arguably top 10 in the league or at least top 15 in the league as far as players. I mean, like that's 2 pretty good additions.
I'm sure they have a really good track record. I'm sure last year was a fluke and they'll be healthy all season.
Yeah, so they're probably going to be injured. Also, Kawhi, it's also like, I don't even know what happens to Kawhi. He missed a lot of games.
His healthy season, he missed like 20-something games because he wouldn't play back-to-backs and on weekends and alternate Wednesdays and when he had a hangout.
It's raining out. We're playing indoors. I'm not playing when it's raining out. I don't want to slip. It's indoors, Kawhi. I want to be traded.
I don't do inclement weather. Lakers.
Yeah, I don't think they're that good. Lakers, you're going to suck because your team doesn't want to even make the most minor trade to make your team better.
Somehow the Lakers sucked last year and lost like all their depth. They lost Carmelo, Ariza, Augustine, Bazemore, Avery Bradley, Wayne Ellington, Dwight Howard. Like they lost Malik Monk.
The Lakers are 45 wins. How are they over under 45 wins? I understand LeBron and Anthony Davis are very good at basketball, but come on.
I mean, they added Beverly, Toscano Anderson, Schroeder, Thomas Bryant.
I mean, Schroeder's pretty good, but how hard is LeBron going to try when he knows the team doesn't give a shit about the season?
45 is way
too high.
Way too high.
You have Russell Westbrook who'll be jacking up shots. LeBron's going to be like, this is just goddamn ridiculous. This is what I have to go out to. Like, how much effort is LeBron going to really give when he realizes Anthony Davis can only play a third of the games? Russell Westbrook wants to take 50% of all shots on the court. And the team's like the front office is like, we have no interest in improving this roster. LeBron, go sell tickets, and we're just going to do a retirement tour for you.
Here's my prediction. LeBron goes all out until he breaks Kareem's scoring record, and then he shuts it down if they're not good.
I think that supposedly he wants like Bronny to play with him. So like to play long enough that the Lakers could take Bronny. I really feel like LeBron's like, I really like living here, but I can't stand being on this team.
Yeah.
He at least got a title, but he should move on.
Memphis Grizzlies. They added Danny Green. And they lost D'Anthony Melton and Kyle Anderson.
Okay. Well, the Memphis Grizzlies are it's just bullshit because they just copied the Knicks' idea of having a lot of depth. I don't know why they had to copy the Knicks. By the way, Memphis they're slated to win 48 games, according to the Vegas odds.
Mm-hmm.
Why is this team going to suck, Jay?
Because last year was a fluke.
Yeah,
Everyone played over their
Ja's
heads.
Ja is awesome, but yeah, everyone played above their above. Like guys are gonna come back to earth. As much
Think
as you
Atlanta
like,
from 2 years ago. They're Atlanta from 2 years ago.
Desmond Bain was awesome last year. When he shoots 33% this year from three, you're gonna be like, oh, he doesn't look quite as good.
Yeah.
Like everything just worked perfectly for them last year. Not so much this year.
I've never
They're gonna
seen a
be
team have a perfect storm back-to-back seasons. That's just not going to happen.
yeah. It's one of those things where like there's just so like it just doesn't work out. And Jaren Jackson doesn't he already have some injury issues? Or
He
am I
always
just like,
does.
or am I reading tomorrow's paper?
Miami Heat.
Ooh,
They added
Miami.
nobody, and they lost Markieff Morris and PJ Tucker.
They did add someone. Actually, you're forgetting. They added an even older version of Kyle Lowry.
And an even older version of Butler. And
Yes,
Bam looked like garbage in the playoffs last year, too.
they added a guy that looks like Victor Oladipo, doesn't play like him.
Their second highest paid player was unplayable in the playoffs.
Yes, but they did go all in on giving a huge contract to Tyler Hero, who they still don't think can start NBA games.
So their second and third highest paid players, one of them can't start and the other one can't even play.
Yes, exactly. But they built a lot of their team around guys they like found that like you're in like they somehow got guys like Gabe Vincent off of like the out of the G League to play well. I don't know if that like you're gonna some of those guys are gonna come back down to earth also. But yeah, you're going all in on guy like you have a bunch of guys on the bench who are making a lot of money. Jimmy Butler is gonna get tired of your team. They're not gonna be that good this year.
Yeah.
Yeah, I see downhill real fast for this roster, this old aging roster. Does Kyle Lowry even like Kyle Lowry's going to be injured most of the season, right, Jay?
Yeah, absolutely.
Guaranteed. By the way, the over under for Miami is 48 wins. Plus, I'm sure there'll be a tropical storm that'll take out half of Miami. So, anyway, is that too negative? Is that too dark?
A little bit. Bucks added Ingles, so that's good. Get him right after he completely fell off a cliff.
Which team?
The Bucks.
Oh, the Bucks. Oh, okay. Yes.
They added Ingles. They lost Alex Antetokounmpo, who I didn't even know there was another brother.
How many are there?
And they're all good enough to like get on an NBA roster.
It helps. It helps when one of your brothers is pretty darn good at basketball.
Yeah. He's just getting everybody paid.
They still have Bobby Porter's magic. They still got Brooke Lopez. They got Milton, who's back and healthy. Why are they going to suck, Jay?
All their key players are over 30, except Giannis, and they got lucky. They got lucky with health. Their front court is Brooke Lopez. Like he looked like he just didn't recover from his injuries, and I think that's the new Brooke Lopez.
I mean, your bench is like Grayson Allen. It's okay. George Hill, who I can't. How old is George Hill? What are you going to say? Like, if I said 32 over on, sorry, if I said 34 over under for George Hill,
I was going to say exactly 34.
I'm going to say he's 36 or 37.
36.
He's 36.
Yep.
Well, look at you being faster than me on Google. Anyway, their depth is pretty bad at this point.
They have no bench. They have absolutely no bench.
They have no bench. I guess we're saying a lot of the same things about different teams. Ingles kind of sucks now. Everything's about can the Greek Freak deliver? And the answer is no. He peaked already when we win the title, and now he is not going to be as good. And the league will finish out. The league will stop letting him go like run backwards and run forward to the basket.
Yeah.
The league will figure that out this year. When you know how he backs up and then runs towards the basket.
Yeah.
There's got to be a way to figure that out.
They'll just call offensive fouls, and then it's over.
Yeah. Maybe they'll be like, hey, we're not going to give you.
It's not allowed.
We're not going to give you a foul on every goddamn play to the basket. We're going to stop calling ridiculous star fouls for you.
Yeah.
Okay, who we got next?
Timberwolves. They added Kyle Anderson, Bryn Forbes, Austin Rivers, and Rudy Gobert. And they lost Malik Beasley, Beverly, Okogie, Vanderbilt, Greg Monroe.
Hey, Jazz. You guys are always really good during the regular season, but then the playoffs you kind of suck. Who's that guy you guys can't keep on the court, on the floor in the playoffs? The guy like he plays great defense, but he can't seem to get on the court. You guys think he sucks that much in the playoffs? Anyway, we'll give you all the draft picks we'll ever have to get him.
Yeah, well, we want to emulate you and peak in the regular season.
Yes, we really want. Gobert is just so awesome in the playoffs that we need more Gobert for our playoff run.
So we want to take the guy who everyone figured out in the playoffs, but have the version of him that's over 30 and peaked like 2 years ago.
Right, but we want to make sure we have no draft capital left when we get him.
We want no backup plan. We don't
Yes.
want to be able to make a backup plan.
We actually feel that it was worth keeping D'Angelo Russell on the roster. We got something out of him last year, and we didn't trade him thereafter. We're this dumb.
Yeah, exactly.
But we got Anthony Edwards. He looks kind of awesome. By the way, Karl Anthony Towns was really sick and lost like 30 pounds. Did you hear about this?
No, I didn't.
He had some kind of virus, just not COVID, but he lost a bunch of weight.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. That's just But anyway, how is Karl Anthony? I guess in the positive, Karl Anthony Towns is like, now I don't even have to pretend to play defense.
So we have the Pelicans.
The New Orleans Pelicans. What? I'm trying to think of what could go wrong for them. Is there anyone that's an injury risk on that team?
So the Pelicans added nobody and they lost nobody. They said, this is a championship roster. We're making no moves.
By the way, the Bucks were 52 wins, second highest to the Celtics. Who are we just making fun of just now? I'm losing my mind.
The Pelicans?
No, before the Pelicans.
Oh, the Timberwolves.
Oh, T-Wolves were 48, and the Pelicans are 44. I'm not sure if I'm adding much to these by saying this.
Probably.
But they also did add, in theory, Zion.
Yeah, in theory.
In theory, he played. He's ready. He said he's in the best shape of his life, which means he is one of every player in the NBA who claims to be in the best shape of their lives this season.
Every single player in the NBA said it this year.
It's amazing. 100% of the time, it's going to happen. Every year, it seems to happen. It's unbelievable how they were in the best shape of their career every year. Should we make fun of Zion for the fact that he'll miss most of the season?
No, I think we could just make fun of the fact that they stood pat on like an 8th seed.
I mean, in theory, they added Zion Williams, so that helps. By the way, Zion, is he good at defense? Because he doesn't look like he was good in defense when he played a couple of years back.
He looked like mediocre. He's one of those guys like that gets blocks, but like
Yeah.
nothing else. So like you look at the box score and you're like, oh yeah, he's good on defense, but like in reality, he's not.
In reality, he doesn't keep up with guys.
Right.
So yeah, he doesn't like. Yeah. Also,
Not a great rebounder either.
I mean, they had a pretty good year last year overall, and I'm sure their logic is like, well, Zion Williams is coming back. We'll be fine for both games he plays.
Mm-hmm.
But they got CJ McCullough. They have an interesting roster. They're going to be mediocre, and they're going to continue to be mediocre. 8th seed, though. They have a shot at the 8th seed.
Yeah. Good luck.
It's like winning a title. By the way, they have Larry Nance Jr. This is what I was going to say to you. Does Obi at all remind you of Larry Nance Jr.? Someone says this on Twitter, and I was like, oh, yeah, kind of.
Yeah. Yeah, a little bit.
Hopefully he has a better career.
I hope so.
I really hope so.
OKC added a bunch of bench guys and lost a bunch of bench guys. Nothing of note.
OKC, they also they added and lost Holmgren, one of the top picks in the draft.
Yeah. So they're basically tanking again. So they're gonna stink.
Hey, Shea Gilchrist, we have no interest in winning ever. We're gonna keep poking you until you demand a trade.
Okay. So Orlando Magic, they added nobody. I mean, they had the first overall draft. I'm not doing draft picks. So I was just they had the first.
Kind of an interesting guy. I mean, he's Paulo Boat. What's his name again? Last name?
Banchero.
Pajero. He's supposed to be awesome, but rookies are never all that amazing, or rarely that amazing. They brought back Mo Bamba because the rest of the league didn't want him. Markel Fultz may or may not be healthy this year.
Mobama was like kind of campaigning to be on the Knicks.
Yeah, but the Knicks were like, Mitch. I mean, I'm not sure we want to pay you, but if Mo's the only, if Mo Bamba's the alternative, then here's your money.
Yeah, yeah.
They got a bunch of interesting players. They got Wagners, Franz and Moritz. They're both pretty good. Cole Anthony is a solid point guard if you don't want to win games. What else they got on that team?
Orlando's always garbage, so
They got Jonathan Isaac in part of the we'll always have a promising center that can't get on the court.
right. Or
Or
a
power
guy who
forward,
can
whatever.
get on the court and then demands a trade.
Yes. That's the dream in Orlando. You get good enough that you can get off the team.
Right.
I want to one day be good enough in this team that I can get the hell out of the city.
All right, we're almost done. Philly.
Philly.
They added Harold, Tucker, D'Anthony Melton, and they lost DeAndre Jordan, Danny Green, Paul Millsap.
They added basically all the greatest knowledge of all the strip clubs in the NBA.
I mean,
Or around NBA cities, that is.
you can always count on Harden to perform in the playoffs, right? So I don't even know where to go from here.
I'm gonna say the Philly really screwed. Like Philly was at top. They're like, I guess we have to now that we trade for him. I guess we have to kind of keep him.
Mhm.
But Harden's just gonna get worse and worse, and it's going to be one of the more dramatic fall offs.
You're not going to believe this, but Harden said he's in the best shape of his life.
No way! That is shocking. Joel Embiid may or may not be healthy, but I think James Harden, like Kyrie Irving, have some kind of pact with the devil where they have to burn down the teams they're on.
It's the Kardashian Jenner curse.
Yeah.
It's undefeated.
By the way, Tobias Harris must feel really great being on that team when all they want to do is trade him.
For like 5 straight years. And he's not even a bad player. I don't understand.
Every fan only mentions his name in terms of like, well, what can we get for him?
I know the fans want to get rid of him. The front office is trying to trade him. Like, he's not a bad player. It's crazy to me.
Tyrese Maxey will probably not be. He's not going to be as good as IQ this year.
He's not.
What else we got?
Speaking of the Kardashian Jenner curse, we have the Phoenix Suns.
Ooh, who just lost the Australian national team? Remember the time the Phoenix Suns made the finals? And everyone was like, "They're here to stay." No, they're not.
So they lost Aaron Holiday, Frank Kaminsky, JaVale McGee, and they added Damian Lee and Josh Okogie.
And Chris Paul. How old is Chris Paul now, Jay?
What, 37?
That sounds about right. He is 30. He's going to turn 38 this season.
So, you know they have, like, no backup. Like, their backup is Elfrid Payton.
Campaign. Oh, Elfrid Payton. No, it's Campaign then Elfrid Payton. But yeah.
Either one of those, like, the team is absolute trash when Chris Paul doesn't play. Even within games, when Chris Paul goes to the bench, they're absolute trash. So, they're not going to do anything.
Yeah. Also, guys, at some point, your 37 turning 38-year-old point guard is going to just Father Time is going to beat him down a little bit.
Also, there's some weird chemistry thing going on with DeAndre Ayton, who seemed like he really didn't want Phoenix to match his offer, and they matched, and now he just looks pissed. So
yeah, I'm not sure why he wanted to be not be on the team, but he does not want to be on this team anymore.
He doesn't want to be part of that Jenner curse. I'm telling you.
Devin Booker is going to go back to the role we really know him as. We prefer him as the guy who gets lots of points on a garbage team.
Yep.
He's going down.
I think we got 4 more. Portland Trailblazers, they added Gary Payton and Jeremy Grant, and they lost Bledsoe, Ingles, not much else. Bunch of end of the bench guys.
I mean, so speaking of Father Time beating players down, I don't know if Dame gets better.
No.
Dame came off the worst, injured and the worst season of his career. He's going downhill. I don't know why they're banking on him getting better.
Oh, so Andrew's saying it wasn't the Australian national team. It was just an NBL team. So it wasn't even like their all-star team.
Oh, it was just a team from the league?
It was just a team in Australia.
Holy crap.
So, yeah.
Can we pretend it was also the worst team in the Australian league? That's really funny. But anyway, Portland, Anthony Simons is an emerging young star. He's going to be pretty good. They got Gary Payton III, who was awesome on defense for Golden State, but he's going to be hard to play on a team that needs offense.
It's only the second. You're skipping a generation.
Oh, whatever. Maybe I have blurry eyes. Maybe I'm tired. I don't know. The hell, Jay. Anyway, they got Josh Hart, who I've always really liked. They got Jeremy Grant, who do you think Jeremy Grant, like, he left Denver because he's like, I want a bigger role on the team.
Mm-hmm.
He became the man in Detroit. Detroit's like, you're not so great as the man. We're going to move you because we want to get better, so we want to move you. Now he's back to being a role player.
Right.
I don't think he's going to be happy as a role player.
Nope. So they're gonna have chemistry issues, and they're just not that good. They have just enough to. They're in like NBA purgatory.
Yeah, I think Dame is following the career trajectory of an ex-Knick that we thought would be a good point guard for us last year, Kemba.
Sorry, back to that Australian team. They came in 7th out of 10 teams last season with a 10-18 record.
These are all real facts. Thank you, our Australian fan base. We really appreciate that. That's hilarious. Phoenix is going to suck.
Sacramento.
But are we moving on to Sacramento?
Yeah, Sacramento. They're Sacramento.
Okay.
Do we even have to do like? Sacramento's always terrible. They didn't do anything to make them not terrible.
They haven't been good since Mike Bibby was a good player, he was really good. Those teams were awesome, but it's been a long time. Their owner got banned from the NBA?
I thought that was Phoenix, wasn't it?
Oh, Phoenix. Sorry.
Yeah.
Oh, let's go back to that. Phoenix. Sorry. I think the Clippers have a bad owner also, but Phoenix. We forgot to say they lost their owner.
Yeah.
That's a weird one.
Yeah.
So what do they have? The Clippers also got Keegan Murray, who's supposed to be pretty good in the draft.
The Kings.
They got Kings.
It's getting
Sorry.
late, folks. Getting late.
Getting late. They still got Sabonis, who was always overrated. They got De'Aaron Fox. They got Monk, who's an interesting guy. What do they got in this team? They got Rashawn Holmes, which I'd like to. If the Knicks had not gotten Hart, Holmes would be a guy I would have liked to gotten.
Yeah.
I don't know. What is there much to say about this team?
No, they're like perfectly mediocre.
Right. They're one of these teams that proves that tanking doesn't work because they're just always bad. Like we're always gonna pick top 5, top 10, and always manage to suck.
I mean, who they picked instead of Luka?
Yeah.
What was his face? He's on Detroit now. Marvin Bagley.
Yeah, Marvin Bagley. That was a.
That's the
they
thing,
must
like,
be.
tanking-
It's not just missing a Luka. I mean, you could have just taken Trey, and that much I bashed Trey, you still wouldn't feel so bad about it.
You could
That
have
was just a.
you could have taken any of the next like 6 guys drafted in that draft. Honestly, like it was just a bad pick.
That was a really, really bad pick. Anyway, I think Keegan Murray is going to be actually pretty good this season. They got Davion Mitchell's pretty good. I think they're going to be one of these teams where you're like, oh, there's a lot of decent players. Not sure why they're 20 games under 500, but that's the story.
Right. Speaking of 20 games under 500, the San Antonio Spurs.
The Spurs, I don't know. Do you think they were tanking last year? Because I think they're 100% tanking this year.
I don't think they were taking last year, but they seem to have traded almost all their good players this year. So, yeah, they're in tank mode. They're going to be absolutely terrible.
They had the lowest under/over at 22 wins. They're going to be garbage.
Yeah.
Is there anything on that roster that's worthwhile?
No. So
They got Dougie McDermott, who sharpshooter extraordinaire. They got Keldon Johnson, Josh Richardson, They got Devin Vassell, who was a top 10 pick, who's Who do they got in that team?
They got one. Their center is like the one guy that I wouldn't mind. But
Which one? Pirtle.
yeah,
Yeah, he's not bad. I mean, they're one of these teams that you're like, if we just swap them out for the best G League team, would we really notice in terms of wins?
right.
They're going to be real bad.
Yeah,
Is this last team or is there one more to go?
there is 3 more, believe it or not.
We got to go real fast, Jay.
Yeah, the Raptors, who didn't really add anybody and didn't really lose anybody of note.
Yes, the Raptors. They are supposed to be pretty good coming up. A lot of people think they're going to get better this year. OG's going to keep getting better. They got Van Fleet, who I wanted a couple of years back. They got Pascal Siakam, who is also obviously very good at basketball. Who's the guy from last year they got? The guy who's kind of awesome.
Was it Suggs?
Oh, Scotty Barnes.
Scotty Barnes, right.
Yeah, he's kind of awesome. So why is this team going to suck, Jay?
They're in NBA purgatory. They're not good enough to scare anybody. Nobody's scared of them. But they're not bad enough or have enough flexibility to get any better. So they're just meh.
Yeah, purgatory. I don't trust their. They're a fine team. They're gonna win 40 games. Congrats on your 40 wins, maybe 42 wins. You're not going anywhere. Scotty Barnes is pretty awesome. They're gonna have injury issues also. Yeah, they're gonna have problems. I don't know. They're also Canadians, so fuck them. And if we have Canadian listeners, I was kidding.
Jazz, they're in full tank mode. So I don't.
You think?
We don't even have to cover that. They're going to be terrible. And the last one is the Wizards.
They did get Colin Sexton, so he's going to have fun on that team.
Yeah.
Why are the Wizards going to suck? Is there anyone on that team that we kind of hate as Knicks fans? Are you blanking, Jay?
I am blanking.
Okay. I'll give you a hint, Jay. Instead of working on his NBA game, he prefers to work on his NBA workout videos. Him flexing.
Porzingis. Yeah.
Yes, come on. Porzingis will be injured half the season, and the other half the season you'll be wondering why he's not playing defense.
Yeah.
He'll put up some points. Bradley Beal is also doing a dame, and just going to get these small guards. Actually, Beal's not that small, but he's still small. He's going to keep getting worse. He had also a bad year that last year. They're a mediocre team. They got their biggest claim to fame, and you didn't mention this, Jay, is they got Taj Gibson. I love Taj. I appreciate Taj. Taj will get a lot of minutes when Porzingis is injured.
So there you go. You've heard why every other team in the league sucks, and the conclusion is Knicks are winning the championship.
Pretty much guaranteed the Knicks are going to win the title. I hope you enjoy. If you're a fan of another team, I'm sorry for you. If you're a Knicks fan, sky's the limit.
I mean, we just logically proved.
We proved that every team is worse than the Knicks. Why are the Knicks better? Because everyone else is worse. Knicks crushed the Pistons tonight. Not everyone can do that. Some teams lose to like bad teams from Australia. So,
all right. So thanks for joining. I've got a bunch of people in the chat. Thanks for joining in the chat room. Saturday, I will be doing the live Fantasy League draft around 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You can check us out live, youtube.com/TITOWAJ, or twitch.tv/crumpledbacon. That's crumpled with a P. And you can email us, nyknickspodcast@gmail.com, and we are nyknickspodcast on Facebook and Twitter and Instagram and Patreon.
and if you want to send us a postcard, Jay, give your address.
Sure. My address is...
Goodbye, everybody. Goodbye. It's all over. Goodbye. It's time to go. This is the end. Say goodbye. You better go away. I'm gonna leave you. It's the end. Goodbye. Goodbye. Just leave me alone. Feels so good to say goodbye. I'm sick and tired and I'm saying goodbye. Goodbye, girl. Goodbye, 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 everybody.
Well, it took 2 days, but we got this episode recorded. Thank you, Optimum.
Nice. By